Tonight I watched a really, really good movie. That's over 20 years old. It's from it was premiered at the Toronto Film Festival in '92, but it was released theatrically in '93. So it's one of those movies where you're like, is it a '92 release? Is it '93? Damn you, Toronto, for always doing this to me. I'm gonna call it '93 because I like to go with theatrical release date. It was Leslie Harris's Just Another Girl on the I.R.T. Leslie Harris wrote, directed, and produced this film. It's the only film she's had made to date, but according to her Twitter, she's like working on a project that should be coming out soon. So that's kind of exciting. 20 years between projects makes you wonder about a lot of things, because I'm guessing she probably didn't want to take a 20-year break. But based on how subversive and interesting this film was, I can see like she probably came up against a bunch of bullshit. So it's about a girl named I just forgot her name, Chantel, played by Ariane A. Johnson, who only has a handful of credits on IMDb, which is a bummer because she's friggin' amazing in this. She's nominated for an Independent Spirit Award for Best Female Lead for this film, who is a 17-year-old junior in high school who wants to finish. She's at the beginning of her junior year, and she wants to finish a year early so she can just go to college already because she's already smart enough and she knows everything. She gets all A's. She just wants to get the credits and get going with her life to get out of the projects, and she wants to be a doctor. But she's also, she's a teenage girl and she likes boys, and as what happens, she finds out about halfway through the film that she has gotten pregnant because she was using the pill incorrectly, and her boyfriend refused to use a condom even though she asks very persistently, which is why ladies always bring your own condom and just force them to use it or they don't get laid. It solves that problem. So, and then, this goes through her going to Planned Parenthood, and she goes through the whole thing on her own. Like, she feels like she can't tell anybody other than this boyfriend, which was really depressing. And there's a scene where she's at Planned Parenthood and she decides she can't do adoption. She's asking about abortion, and the person says that she's not allowed, is federally funded clinic, so she's not allowed to say, like, give her information about where she can get an abortion. And I'm actually not well versed enough in the history of abortion clinics to know when Planned Parenthood started giving abortions. I should look this up. Giving abortions, having the procedure available there, because obviously an obvious child, that's where she goes. She goes to Planned Parenthood. But just thinking about how it could be legal but you still aren't that there's no information about where you can go and get it done is sort of horrifying to think. So she feels really trapped. But she's this whip smart girl and always like talking back to her teachers because she knows more than them, and dropping F-bombs left and right and then going what. And I love women who are like that because that's pretty much me. This was just such a wonderful character. I love spending an hour and a half with her. I wanted to spend more time with her. The ending is kind of the last 10 minutes. I mean, the very ending is very like cop-out Hollywood fairy tale ending, which didn't quite go with the rest of the movie. But the 5 minutes prior to that, like the whole birth sequence, spoiler alert, is horrifying. And you can see why no studio would want to fund the movie just based on those last 10 minutes. But they're important. And I just feel like this is a very important film with a lot to say about a lot of different issues. And it makes me really kind of sad that this filmmaker hasn't been able to get any other projects off the ground. Or that this actress, who's amazing, hasn't been in much. I always love it when a movie about teenage girls has teenage girls talking like teenage girls with the high-pitched, overlapping dialogue, overexcitement sort of way, because that's how teenage girls are, especially when they're in a group. And I feel like often in films, teenage girls are toned down because, I don't know, a pack of teenage girls is overwhelming, but deal with it. And that doesn't mean we shouldn't be represented as we really are in cinema, you know? So this is a great film. It's on Netflix, so you should watch it because it's great, and it should be like one of the big heralded independent films of the 90s, and I have not even heard of it, so thank you, Netflix, for having this. Yeah, I loved it. It's fantastic. You should watch it. Again, it's Leslie Harris's Just Another Girl on the I.R.T. from 1993, and it is available streaming